Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're glad you're here. In this month's video, we're not just sharing our May spending, we're also sharing all the fun we got up to in May. We did a transatlantic cruise, we had the city experience in Barcelona, and a house sit at the Mediterranean in Sitges, Spain. So much to talk about, plus there are going to be 3 clips from our friends/viewers for you to enjoy along the way, so stay tuned.
In 2015, Amy and I retired in our late 40s, and in January of 2020, we sold our home and became full-time nomads. On the third Wednesday of every month, we are here on our channel talking about our nomadic life and talking about our spending from the prior month. We target spending about $4,000 a month. We failed miserably at that for most of 2022.
All of 2022.
All of 2022. We do have some good news this month, so stick around and we'll share that with you.
We are so glad to be sharing good news because it is mortifying for the first 4 months of the year to be talking about how far behind budget we are. So good news in today's video. Now I'm going to get going with where we were. So we were on that 14-day cruise. It was a Royal Caribbean cruise from Fort Lauderdale to Barcelona. This was our first long haul cruise. Everything else we'd ever done was like a week-long vacation in the Caribbean or something like that. So this was really nice, and we're going to get into the details and what we liked and didn't like so much. We also had those 3 nights in Barcelona where we were at a hotel. We had a GoWithLess meetup. We did the sites, Sagrada Familia. We did a nice walking tour, and then we moved over here to Sitges, Spain, Sitges, which is a beautiful, picturesque town, maybe 30-minute train ride, easy breezy, right outside of Barcelona. So if you're even visiting Barcelona, definitely come out to Sitges for the day. This is a fantastic day trip. We were here for 3 full weeks on a house sit, and we have loved every single minute of it. So let's talk about the cruise.
Yeah, so we love the pet we're watching too.
We
so
do.
He's a lot of fun. So the cruise. So for us, a cruise, it serves a lot of purposes. So number one, coming from Florida to Barcelona, this was transportation. Also, it gave us lodging for 14 nights. It fed us for 14 nights. It entertained us for 14 nights. So we weren't sure, though, how we were going to take to this because, again, like Amy said, we'd never been on anything this long. We absolutely loved it. So it was a real mixed bag of folks that were on the cruise, but we were entertained at all moments. We weren't bored a single bit. It was just, I can't say enough good things about this cruise experience for us.
And we were really surprised how fantastic the people were. We really didn't know who might be on this kind of a cruise. Well, there were a lot of Europeans who have a second home in warmer parts of the United States. They go to Florida for 3 months, which is all they're allowed to do, and then they go back to Europe for the rest of the year. And then they take this cruise to get back home. So we found it to be a really nice way, the best way we've ever had dealing with the jet lag getting to Europe, because it was a 6-hour time difference from Florida. So they just shaved off an hour every day or 2 until we got to our port and our final stop. And that made it a really nice way to do those time changes. So by the time we got to Barcelona, we didn't need to be dragging and all that.
Yeah. Transatlantic cruise, A+.
Okay, and I'm also going to say that on day 7, we had 7 full days at sea, not even touching on land at all. On the 8th day, we finally touched land, and we said beforehand, if we had another week on this cruise without touching land, we'd be fine. That's how much we liked it.
Yeah.
Okay, now the food was generally very, very good. I am not a buffet person. Tim is he's an easy guy, obviously, and he's a really easy eater. So he just likes a lot of options, and he likes a lot of food. I am a little more discerning, and so buffets usually aren't my thing. And I would say that the buffet was not my thing on the cruise either. I usually don't like that kind of mass market food. Not that it's that bad. I'd rather have more creative food, I guess, fresh. And so we went to the main dining room for most of our dinners, probably all of our dinners, and we had a great experience there. So I think that the head chef might be Southeast Asian, so there were lots of Indian curries that were really good. Every day, something different. We had amazing fish at the main dining room, and then the misses of the main dining room I found to be like a big fillet of meat, whether it was chicken or steak or anything like that. When it was just a big hunk of meat, that I wasn't so crazy for that. And I don't mind that if it's good, but I don't think the quality was good enough to stand up to that. But the service made up for it.
I think also the temperature of the food was often off. Often it was a little cold. I think that the cruise ships, just like a lot of places now, are understaffed. And so I think they were just having to deal with that. But all in all, it was phenomenal.
And I want to say, we were not complaining
No.
in any way. So we understand that they are working so hard, and we were not going to make their life any harder. We tried to make it a complete delight as best as we could. So we just ate it, piped down, and if it was something we didn't like, you could just order something else. So I think we brought our flexibility hat on.
As always, I think that's
As
just
always.
the way we roll
As
is
always.
flexibility hat on. So something else about this cruise when it comes to internet. So internet was very, very expensive getting on the boat. It was going to be $20+ a day, even if you bought the package up front. And so we decided not to sign up for that. And we thought we might like the idea of being disconnected for X amount of time. We didn't. So we wanted internet connectivity every day.
It's fun being on the internet.
We find all kinds of things to do. And so we were lucky enough to have some friends that had internet access, and we had a way where we could borrow it from them for like an hour a day and just do a few handful of things along the way. Also, the internet, as you're going across the ocean, I think it relies on satellite technology. It got really bad at certain parts of the trip. As a matter of fact, people that had paid for the internet, our understanding is many of them were given their money back in mid-cruise because the internet just didn't work.
Yeah, there were 4 days where there was no access. But what I was able to access the whole time with our borrowed friend's internet would be I was able to do a text to my parents, which was really nice. And I got to keep my Wordle streak, which I have never blown it. So I was really sad that I was going to blow it on this trip, and I didn't need to. But email and Facebook, no way. That needed much more bandwidth than we had, even with our borrowing our friends. So, okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the ports. So we had 4 ports. And I think one of the really wild things, so here we are coming from Florida. Our first port is the island of La Palma in the Canary Islands, and we stopped at Santa Cruz de La Palma, the main city there. So here we are, we're at sea for, it's like maybe 7 or 8 days getting there, and we get there right to the minute. So how extraordinary that you would be on a road trip, for example, and say, we're going to get, in 8 days, we're going to hit this spot, and we're going to be there at exactly the right time, and you are. So the thing with La Palma is that it was really sleepy, and maybe because we didn't see a really normal picture, we got in on Saturday at around 2:30. They were already on their siesta, so a lot of places were closed for that, and then because it was Saturday, they didn't reopen, so they just had like the mornings open, and then they were closed for the rest of the day and generally Sunday. So we didn't see much happening in La Palma, but they did have a lovely beach. We did have a nice little meal out, but I think it was too sleepy. Even what we saw might be too sleepy and too small, and maybe not a stop for us in the future.
Yeah, so these we like to say that this cruise travel is sort of like tapas travel. We get a little taste of places. This little taste, I don't know that we had enough to really get a firm opinion, but it did seem sleepy. That was our takeaway, and I don't know if this is a place we'd want to spend an extended amount of time.
We hear there's a lot of digital nomads there, so maybe it gets more lively, but maybe not for us. So the next stop was Tenerife, which was on Mother's Day, and we went to a beautiful park there. We did a nice tour of the city, called our families, got calls from our children, so that was a nice check-in on Tenerife. Then we had a couple more days at sea. We passed through the Strait of Gibraltar, where we saw Europe on one side, Africa on the other side. That was really cool.
Yep,
really
awesome.
Cool. Really close. And I had no idea how close it would be. Very close. And then we went to 2 more ports, and those were our favorite ports. That was Valencia, which is the 3rd largest city in Spain, and Mallorca, which is an island of Spain. So Valencia had that, all the 4 cities had a very European feel. They were all beautiful, but it had more of a little bit of an urban feel in a really nice way, in a beautiful way.
So we spent a large part of our time in Valencia looking for a SIM card. And we did spend, a few hours sort of tooling around town. And we definitely, our takeaway was this is a place where we could spend an extended amount of time. It seemed like we like a city vibe. Yeah. We like the liveliness. We liked it a lot.
We did.
It wasn't my favorite, though.
It wasn't. And then his favorite, I was tied for favorites with Valencia and Mallorca. Tim's favorite was Mallorca. So why did you like it so much?
I don't know. I think it's a little bit removed. I think they had a good vibe, sort of like Valencia, but it's just a tiny bit quieter, and
we like cities.
It was also it's an island, and so it has sort of this beachy feel, which that may exist in Valencia as well. But it seemed more like a vacation destination maybe versus Valencia is just a place to visit or live maybe.
Yeah, so we liked both of them quite a bit. Like I said, it was tied first and second for me. Valencia and Mallorca, I liked them both for kind of different reasons. Really, what Tim was addressing. Okay, so then are we done with the cruise?
I think so.
I'm just going to say we're going to talk about where we're going. We're getting back on this cruise in a few days. And when this
The
video
same
comes
ship.
out, we're on the same
Not the same
ship.
cruise, the same
That's
ship.
exactly right. We're on the same ship, so stay tuned because we're going to tell you where we are heading.
Hi, I'm Bret. This is Gina. We just retired from Oklahoma and we took a cruise from the United States to Spain so that we could walk the Camino de Santiago. How many miles are we going to walk?
600.
Not all in the same day.
Okay. Now, we ended up having 3 nights between our cruise and our house sit, and so we went to Barcelona. We had we have 3 Marriott current credit cards, we have 3 IHG hotel current credit cards, and each one of these, when they renew, we get a free annual renewal, you get a free night. And so usually we use these for like the stopover days, like the day when we're going to get to the airport before a flight or whatever. We like to have a buffer so we're not stressed out. But we had one that was, with COVID, we weren't at hotels as much, so we had them build up a little bit. So we did something that was, I think, a little cheap. It was definitely being cheap, and so we did one night at a Marriott, the Marriott Fira, Renaissance Fira in Barcelona, and then we had to take a taxi to the Hotel Indigo, which is part of the IHG line. We were there for 2 nights. That was very, very central, a fabulous hotel. The Marriott Fira was also a lovely hotel. You would need to take a train anywhere you went outside of this Fira area, which looked to be kind of like big giant skyscraper residential. Plus there was an IKEA across the street, so it was more like locals.
We got a great free breakfast also as a perk of our status.
We did.
So that was a really, really good buffet breakfast.
Yeah, and when we got to the first hotel, we got there at like 10 in the morning. They made us wait for like 4 hours to check into our room. Tim has the highest status at Marriott, almost the highest status, titanium. That didn't really help. So that kind of stunk. That there we are, just sitting in the lobby for 4 hours. We didn't know it would be that long. But the Hotel Indigo was an A+. Really thrilled with that redemption.
Oh, this is an interesting story. So I left all of our identification at the front desk as we were checking in the property and waiting around for 4 hours. We'd gone to the desk multiple times. I left our passports. I left all of our identification there.
Our Mexico residency.
Every bit of it. So when we went up to breakfast the next morning, they're like, you need to check in at the front desk. You need to show us your passport. We thought is what they were saying. Then I realized when we got back to the room, we didn't have our passports, so they were downstairs. But luckily, every bit of our identification was there, and we walked out with it. So scary moment.
And I mean, us going early, that is on us. The check-in does not guarantee that we're going to get there at 10 in the morning. So this does not speak poorly of that Renaissance Fira. No. It was a phenomenal experience with really great service. Just something to keep in mind. And again, we were kind of cheap because we only had 3 days. In the middle, we took a taxi. That was checked in and checked out and packed up, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. And sometimes we do things that are a little too frugal, and I think that could have been one of them. We don't want to lose the night and whatever. We also want to make sure we have the best redemption for those free nights. So we don't just want to use it on like a $75 night.
For me, it's really, if we were to walk away from that free night, it would hurt so bad. And also I get to check a box every time we could get one of these like taken care of. So it's like I got to check that box. This is off our list.
Yeah, so sometimes we do crazy things.
Yes.
We had a really fun GoWithLess meetup in Barcelona. Several people from our cruise, I think 5 friends from the cruise, and a man who's traveling around Spain joined us, and so that was really fun.
Hi, I'm Susan.
And I'm Sigi,
And
her husband.
We're from Fort Worth, Texas, and we cruised over here from the U.S. to Barcelona, and from here we're going to be traveling around. We don't know where we're going starting Monday. We just have a hotel until Monday, and then we're going to wing it. I retired in December, and he is working remotely for the time being. Promises that he's going to retire within the next couple months, but we'll see.
And then, oh my goodness, so here we are in Sitges, Spain. Now, really, really cool. The house that we're doing is for viewers of ours, and now they're friends. But we are a block from the Mediterranean, and it is, I feel like I am living the life of Jacqueline Onassis right now, because it's like billionaires have yachts on the Mediterranean where they summer. Well, we might not have the yacht, but we have a wonderful home here. We're in our apartment in
It's
Sitges.
like a block from the beach, and so every morning when we
heaven.
go out to walk the dog, it's like the ocean is just right there, and It's or the Mediterranean Sea, I guess we had. But it is incredible when we walk out and see the water every morning. It's just I can't say enough good things about it. We are definitely living our best life here.
There are cafes along the water. There are the best people watching. Everybody's wearing like a teeny tiny thong bikini, eating gelato, and they look amazing. There's like some magic happening here. I think it's a European thing, but it's amazing. Everyone's eating gelato all the time.
And the summer season is starting to come into bloom, and so that means there are a lot more people at the beach, and so the beach is coming to life. They're putting out lifeguard stands. It's
Lots of people.
And lots of people
Playing like badminton and volleyball.
On the other side of COVID, which hopefully we're almost there, it's after 2 years of not seeing crowds anywhere. It is
fun.
It's fun.
It is fun. Okay, now we've had amazing food in Sitges. We've had the pinchos, which are the little baguette, a slice of baguette with something on it. Maybe it's meatballs or shrimp or croquettes or something like that. And tapas. We've had lots of tapas. The patatas bravas, and again, we love those croquettes. The paella. We've had paella several times, but we've also had good international food here. We've had yummy, like thin crust pizza, Italian style. Love that. Thai food. Delicious. Indian food, delicious. So it's and the town is as picturesque as could be. So everything is also very walkable. We haven't done anything unless we leave town. We haven't been on any kind of transportation whatsoever because we walk everywhere.
Yeah. And alcohol also is very, very affordable here. So if you buy it at the grocery store, I can buy a single beer for 30 cents. And so it's crazy affordable. Even at a restaurant, a beer is maybe $2 or $3 for just a...
Same price as water.
Yes.
Same price as water. And I am a sparkling wine kind of girl, like a champagne, for example. So the sparkling wine in Spain is called cava. And we bought a nice tasting bottle of cava, big full bottle for €2, which is close to $2 at the grocery store. So this
$2.
is, like $2.50, less than $2.50. And then, let's see, I also want to talk about the weather. So the weather is like 70 to 80 degrees every single day, cool breeze. We're going to be coming back for 3 weeks in the dead of the summer. So we're curious what that feels like. I want to go back for just a second to talk about the weather on the cruise. The seas were incredibly smooth. The weather was about 70 degrees every day, so not really bathing suit weather, but really nice weather. But it was so smooth. I looked out, I thought it might be really, the captain had announced we're heading into very choppy waters in a few days. So I was like, this could be really bad. We never, no, that didn't happen.
And even one morning we got up and we were at breakfast and they're like, did that keep you up last night? And so we didn't even have
we're bad sleepers.
That's right. So it didn't bother us in the least. So the choppy seas didn't, and I'm sure it can get bad, but we didn't have any experience that was anywhere near bothersome.
We were lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in the middle of our Sitges stay, our daughter came to visit us. So she was here for a total of, like a week and a half. She went in the middle of it to go see a friend of hers who's in Paris. She's only 21, so it was kind of a big deal, I think. So we went and picked her up at the airport, so she felt comfortable with that. And but then she went off to Paris by herself at 21, which so she's a traveling girl after our heart.
Maybe.
So that was really fun to have her here.
G'day, we're Glenn and Jacqueline from Melbourne, Australia.
We're full-time house sitters. We've been travelling since 2016 and all over the world, and we're currently in Europe in Barcelona and met Tim and Amy, which has been fantastic.
Okay, so let's get into our spending.
So this may or may not be surprising. Our largest expense for the month of May is going to be food and dining. We spent $1,192 in this category this month. It was actually sort of shocking to us since over half the month we were on a cruise ship where all of our food
was
was
taken. Over half. It was only till the morning of the 13th.
Okay, so a large
give us a little break.
So, but it was crazy. So that was almost 54% of our spending for the month was on food. Restaurants came in at $938 of that. Groceries were $254. So maybe inflation is coming in. However, I don't even know. So food here in Spain seems very affordable. So it doesn't seem like that's it. I think we're eating out a little bit more. We're doing things that are a little more splurgy than we're used to when it comes to our dining.
And we had our daughter her with us. So we paid for every single bite of food she ate while she was with us. So that certainly increased it. On every one of our 4 ports, which were all in May, we went and had lunch. We didn't have to. We could have had a big breakfast and a big dinner and skip lunch, no problem. We wanted to soak up the cafe culture, and sitting outside afuera is a really fantastic thing in European cultures. And so we did enjoy that. We were with friends every single time we did it. That was very well worth doing, and that was kind of like a highlight of our port days.
That's right. One of our second most expensive meal of the entire month was at a port day. It was $64 that we spent in a restaurant in Mallorca.
Mallorca. So to have your second biggest expense meal, $64 for 2 people, it just lets you know we're not going completely hog wild.
When we had access to free food, unlimited free food.
Yeah. Okay. But then I want to talk about our most expensive meal, which was $106. That was for a really special occasion, our wedding anniversary.
Our wedding anniversary.
Yes. So sometimes we don't celebrate it at all. This time we did, and it was our first night in our first full night in Sitges. So we were with our homeowner friends, and then they left the next morning. That was our anniversary. So that night we went and had one of the nicest restaurants in town called Fragata, and we both ordered, this is what we often do, 2 appetizers, 2 entrees. Portions aren't that big in Europe is what we find, or at least in Spain. So that's fine. And but what they did is, because we were sharing it, they brought it out like a coursed meal. So they brought out our salad, and then they brought out foie gras, and then they brought out our seafood, and then they brought out our delicious pork. And one at a time they brought out, put it in the middle, and we were able to share that. So it was like a one-person tasting meal, which was just great.
We had cava with that, and I think I had a glass of red wine.
They gave us a glass.
They gave us
for
a glass
our
of
celebration.
cava. I got a glass of cava, and then I had a glass of red wine. So I had plenty of alcohol. Then also they gave us a dessert, which was a nice little treat.
So good.
So this place really delivered just on all levels of this meal. It was beautiful presentation. The food was delicious. So it was very affordable in the context of what we were getting.
And I want to mention something too. So I do love a goat cheese salad. It is kind of pedestrian, so nothing too fancy. But I wanted something like a little cool and light to start off with because it's just warm here. And so we did order the goat cheese salad. Now what you're seeing is the goat cheese salad. So they made the goat cheese with geleed tomatoes and carrots inside to look like a sushi roll. So just the food was the food was creative, plated beautifully, delicious. The service was extraordinary. The view was perfection. Like everything about this was celebration worthy. So for $106, that was like
great.
What a great deal. Yeah, what a great deal. Okay, so number 2.
Our second largest category is going to be miscellaneous of $283. 12.8% of our spending for this month was here. The biggest chunk of this was for tips for the people that helped us the most on our cruise. And so this is above and beyond the cruises that are the tips that are just built into when you cruise. So we gave our waiter an extra tip, we gave the assistant waiter an extra tip, and we gave our room steward an extra tip.
Yes.
And that was $195 that we split among those 3 folks.
And the reason why we called it gifts is so we already had done, so we were debating. So the thing is that it doesn't have to be exact. The category, sometimes we debate what goes in what category. The bottom line is correct, and that's what matters. So you could put these in any categories. We wanted it as gifts because we looked at them as more as gifts. Also, I had learned that they hadn't been off the ship since November. Here it is, May. And I felt really bad for them. I asked them every single day when we went to port, is there anything I can get you? Toothpaste, I don't know, deodorant, anything you need. I'll be happy to get that. And all 3 of them said no. But every single day we went and had a fun time with it. We went and found a little, I don't know, like a little grocery store and bought chocolate or macaron or nuts or something every single day. And they loved them. I brought the women these little boxes of macarons. I said, do you know what these are? One of them was like, no. So hopefully she liked them. I don't know. But another guy looked up and goes, oh, those are macarons. So it was kind of just a fun thing. And then we also, like I said, gave them cash, which we were so happy to do, and made it kind of like a gift. And then we had $88 in just gifts for family. Quite a bit of that was for our daughters. We paid for her SIM card, so she had internet here in Europe. Her train pass. We were going to talk about the train passes in another category because we had them too. And her COVID test was €20 to get back to the U.S. It was very easy at the pharmacy here. 1 day notice. Hopefully they drop that at some point. But that was, we just put that in their gifts because we called this. We paid for her airfare in a prior month. This was her Christmas birthday gift. So her trip to see us. So we took care of every single thing that she needed to do, eat, whatever.
Yes, it was phenomenal.
Okay, category number
So
3.
category number 3 is going to be health and fitness. We spent $277 in this category, or 12.5%. The biggest chunk of this is going to be our health insurance, IMG Global, that we paid for actually in full earlier in the year, and we just are amortizing it throughout the year. And then
Hold on, before you do, we have a whole video. If you want to hear more about that, we have a whole video up top here. Check that out. Talk about laundry.
And then laundry. So we spent $35 on the ship for laundry.
One
That
bag.
was one bag, and you could stuff as much as you could into the bag, but it only was specific things. It was shorts, T-shirts, underwear, socks. Is that it?
And bathing suits, which
And
we never
bathing
put
suits.
on a bathing suit.
And so that's all you could stuff in. So this is mainly my clothes. And so we brought some stuff along to try and wash some clothes in the sink. And Amy did that and had some success with that. My stuff is kind of bulky. I was worried I was going to have clothes hanging all over the room. And, and they were never going to dry. And so this just made some sense to do. So it wasn't crazy expensive.
I'm going to give a good tip
Actually,
about
it was
this.
crazy
It was
expensive.
ridiculously expensive, $35. We just built that into the cost of our cruise. Our cruise was so affordable. If you haven't seen our video all about how we save so much money on our cruises, make sure to check that out up above. But our cruise was so affordable, we opted to pay the $35. Oh, here's the tip. It comes in like a thin little paper bag that doesn't even like expand at the bottom. And so if you break it, you can't really fit that much in it. So you take one of the hotel plastic bags, you line the paper bag, and then it doesn't break, and you can really stuff that thing full. So, but here's the thing: is we had like a couple nights before the cruise at a hotel. We didn't want to come to our house sit with like 4 giant bags of clothes. So after the cruise, so so we needed to get the laundry done. And then when we arrived in Barcelona, but again, that was just that was not very much of my stuff at all.
And our understanding is that all the cruise lines have different sort of rules about laundry. Some of them, we understand that Carnival, you can actually go wash your clothes on your own.
Some
ships. And then on Norwegian, we got a bag, I think it was $25. We could stuff anything we wanted into.
Yeah.
So it's sort of all over the map how this sort of works. But if you just pay by the piece, it is crazy, like $4 for a pair of shorts, one pair of shorts, or something ridiculous.
Just not dry cleaning.
So,
Just regular laundry, like almost the same for a pair of socks.
You want to wash your clothes in the sink, ideally.
I guess, and I'll do that too. Okay, then when we arrived in Barcelona, when we had that one night at the hotel we were waiting at, we did a load of laundry. It was really expensive, actually. So we did 2 washers, 1 dryer. It was $21, which I thought was insanely expensive. That was probably the most expensive laundromat experience we've ever had. So we did the lights and the darks, and I took out half of my, almost all my stuff. I hang it to dry, all my skirts and dresses and blouses and everything like that. So, but what I put in were basically like, I guess my underwear is just almost the only thing I had in there. Well,
of your stuff.
Of my stuff. Tim had everything, almost everything Tim has, except for a few shirts, goes in to the dryer. So anyway, so here we are. We're during a 3-course menu del dia. So it's like every day, many places do like a little first, middle, and dessert little course. And so we were in the middle of that, and we're doing our laundry. So I pop out as Tim's eating his entree, his main course, and I just throw everything that went into the dryer, put in one big dryer. And you could do it for 20 minutes or then 15-minute increments. So US dryers take our stuff usually takes like at least 35 minutes to dry minimum. So I put it in, I pay for 35 minutes on high heat. We come back, this stuff is like it's been on
crispy.
The sun.
It's like bacon.
And I've been so honest here, the elastic of my underwear, at least 3 pieces, just completely evaporated. Fortunately, I think that was the only problem.
All of
that
my
happened.
stuff seems to be in normal shape. We'll see. Maybe it gets crunchy after a while, but so far it's okay. So.
And you'll see the underwear come up again later because I needed some new underwear. Okay, and I don't know that this belongs in health, fitness, and beauty is this category. I thought this goes in home. Again, that's another example that it really just shakes out in the end. Tim had a haircut for $16 in Sitges. Looking good. Okay, number 4.
Number 4, auto and transportation. We spent $157 this month, which equates to 7.1% of our spending. Most of that was from a train. I guess the biggest chunk of that was from train passes. We spent $65 on 2 train passes, which get us back and forth from Barcelona to Sitges several times. And then
Before you go on, I want to
Yeah,
talk about that.
sure, go for
Okay,
it.
so that is a 10. So these are called T casual passes. It's a 10 pass. Each one of us got them. The pass per person was, I guess, $32.50 per person, and so that would make each ride $3.50 US dollars. But if you maybe you don't need that many, that's fine. But we were going to be going back and forth, getting our daughter at the airport, going into Barcelona with our daughter, and you'll see that again in our spending coming up. The bus to the airport is $8 one way, and it's not part of the normal network.
If you don't have this
If you
pass.
don't have it, so it's $8 one way to the airport, or it's $4.80 to and from Barcelona each way on the train. So to pay $3.25 versus $4.80 versus $8, that was a no-brainer. We are going to be. It doesn't expire, so we can use this when we come back in July. That was, but you can't share it, so you can't be like we're both on the same pass.
And this is also a Zone 3 pass. So
Yes.
because of our distance from Barcelona, it puts us in the third zone, which is more expensive than the first or second zone, obviously. But anyway, so it's a great option for saving some money.
Tim had a renewal on one of his credit cards, the Chase Sapphire Preferred. We decided just to split the $95 fee, half in this category and half in our home, because there's either we're going to probably use it for points, for flights, or for hotels. So we just split it up even. And then we spent $35 on 2 taxis in Barcelona. Now, this is a good time. That's with all of our stuff. Both of those times had a lot of luggage. Now, this is a good time to say our numbers don't include every single dollar that we have spent, or this video would be even longer than it is.
Our discussion. So
Yes,
all
yes,
of the spending is
exactly.
included here. It's the discussion
We don't
about
pull out
penny.
every penny, just the things that we want to talk about.
So category number 5 is going to be entertainment. We spent $121 in this category, or 5.5%.
Now, since we don't get to see our daughter a lot, we decided to celebrate a whole bunch of special occasions while she was here. So one of the days was Mother's Day in May. We had a Father's Day celebration for Tim in June. But on each one of those days, one of us took our daughter to Barcelona and did something really fun and kind of touristy with her. So what we decided to do was an e-bike tour all over Barcelona, which was so much fun. That cost $84. I would highly recommend it. We bought that on Viator. Tim and I are affiliates with Viator. We love them. It's kind of like Airbnb for experiences, and it's all over in every single city we've ever visited in the US or anywhere else in the world. So if you are doing any kind of touring, if you would use our link to book it, it doesn't cost you anything extra. I'll put it in the first comment as well as in the description below. So we would appreciate that. And then we took a free walking tour of Barcelona. We love the company Sandemans. We've done it in maybe at least 5 different cities. We've loved them every single time. And even though they're free, we do give a tip. So it was €20, which works out to $22. And then the rest is just our streaming services.
Yep. Category number 6 is going to be bills and utilities. This was $92. This was all in the cell phone category. So we bought SIM cards for both of us when we showed up here in Europe. Each of them were €20. Amy got a Vodafone SIM. I got an Orange SIM. And so that was €40 that we spent for that. And then also we paid for Amy's Google Fi service. And we had this Amex offer that gave us, if we spend $100, we get $50 back. So we went ahead and loaded that up. So there's also $50 worth of Google Fi spending in this category.
I do want to mention that my Vodafone has 100 gig for 28 days of service. That is in Spain. I'm able to use it in many other places, including the UK where we're heading, and the US. And it just goes down to 17 gig in that 28 days. If I don't use any of it, it does roll over. So it seems to be a really good plan, really cheap. It's worked fantastic.
I think the nice thing about these SIMs is that if you buy a SIM in the EU, it works throughout the EU. The country that you originally buy it in, you're going to get more data, but when you use it throughout the EU, you get less data. But it's still a phenomenal deal. We don't have to change service providers. We're just going to keep this service provider all summer long. It's very affordable.
Okay. Category number 7 is shopping, $48 or 2.2%. That burned out elastic on my underwear. I needed some new underwear. So we ordered it off of Amazon, and Tim also got some European chargers. That was $35 for those, which was nice that you could still get Amazon here.
So here's cool. So basically you have to go to the local Amazon. So it's Amazon.es, as in España, And so we ordered this stuff from there. It ships to a store locally. We just go pick it up, and it was easy to do.
And then number 8 is home and lodging, $43 or 1.9%. It's important to know that we had already paid for all of our cruise in prior months. We had three free certificates for our hotels, and then we're at a house sit. So we didn't have any traditional cost for like a roof over our head. And then we also had a refund. So we canceled my Chase Sapphire Reserve that I have had for 4.5 years, and we canceled that so that I could take advantage of the Chase Sapphire Preferred deal a few weeks later. And we got a credit on my hefty annual fee of $183 credit, which goes against this. We have the second half of Tim's Chase Sapphire Preferred, which was $47.50. Our storage unit is $107. We still maintain that. That's a monthly. Our mail service was $50. That includes kind of adding some to our postage account. And then there is still a city tax. When you use miles in point certificates in Europe, you still pay the city tax. That's $19 on those 3 hotels. And then taxes, 0. So do the reveal.
Yeah, so that brings us to a total for the month of May of $2,213. Finally, we're underneath that 4K. So that brings us year to date to $22,577 against our $20,000 budget, if you will, which that puts us at 113% year to date.
Yeah.
So overall, we made a little progress this month, so we're happy with that.
We dug away, and we're hoping that we have a couple more months with some more cruises. We get on another cruise soon, so we're going to talk about future plans in just a second. But I want to say that, so if you were to, we could have done clickbaity and say, we traveled the world with all of this for $2,200 a month. That would be wrong. And we talk a lot about tracking, and this is a really good example. So it did not cost us $2,000 to live as nomads doing all of this past month. That's not what it cost. It's because we had spending in our previous months, and this is why it's so important to track your spending for at least a year, so that things like your car insurance that renews every 6 months comes in, Christmas time comes in, birthday gifts and big things come in, your property taxes or things like that. Kind of you see a full picture, and ideally more than a year, but at least a year. Okay, now let's talk about anything else about our spending before we talk about
That's all I got.
where we're going. Okay, where are we going? So June, we have a busy June. We start the month still in our Sitges house sit. We're here till June 8th. So by the time this video comes out, we've left Sitges. We go to Barcelona, back using another hotel certificate for 1 night in Barcelona, and then we get back on the exact same ship, the Vision of the Seas Royal Caribbean, and this will be a very different experience. It's going to be, where the other one was mostly days at sea and just a few ports, this is the opposite. It's an 8-night cruise, and we have 7 ports all around France and Spain, just sticking to the Mediterranean, so that'll be really nice, but will be not as much social time or like trivia time, but we'll be really enjoying those ports quite a bit. We have a viewer meetup actually in Valencia that we're going to do, which will be exciting, and then we fly up to Oxford, England. We'll be there at the tail end of June, and that's for a house sit, and we finish the month, we get to Edinburgh at the very end of June, and we start July there. So that's a long video. So we're gonna, any questions? No, sorry if you've gotten all the way to this point. Thank you for watching. We want to hear how your May was. Put it all down below. When you get this video, we'll be on the cruise, hopefully just leaving Ibiza. So woohoo! Hasta
Adios.
luego.